Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are once again going to be talking about Heartland Season 14, Episode 1. So that being said, if you have not seen the Season 14 premiere of Heartland, I highly suggest you don't watch this video as there will be spoilers for Heartland Season 14, Episode 1 in this video. So that being said, if you don't want spoilers and you don't want to know what happens in the Season 14 premiere of Heartland, I would click off this video right now because as soon as I say the next sentence, there's going to be spoilers. 3, 2, 1. So, Ty's death. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I'm going to be completely honest. When I was watching the trailer for Heartland Season 14, I knew that something was going to happen. And I knew that something was going to happen to Ty because of all the rumors and speculation. And not only that, but also just the amount of, or lack of, time that we saw Graham Wardle spend on the set of Heartland Season 14. I was like, alright, something's gonna happen. So even as I was rewatching the trailer the night that the Season 14 Episode 1 premiered, or the Season 14 premiered on CBC in Canada, even like an hour before watching the episode, I was rewatching the trailer and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Also, before I go any farther in today's video, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Tell me your goal of 20,000 subscribers. I would really, really appreciate that. But anyway, so when I was watching the episode, I really, really liked how they started the episode and you could tell something was different. And I asked my friend this just a couple of hours ago, actually, and I texted her and I was like, hey, do you think that the intro song for Heartland Season 14 Episode 1, do you think it sounded different? And she was like, yes, and it also looked different too. And I really liked that. I liked how this intro song, now I could be wrong, but I'm like 99% sure that it sounded different, and I really liked that. I think that the more, I guess, dramatic sadness that played in the intro song, if that is the case, I don't even know if it's different at all, but it sounded a lot different to me. It sounded more like dull and depressing and not as exciting as the original intro song for Heartland, and I really liked that. I think it set the tone for the entire episode, and everyone watching was like, this is different, something's gonna happen, alright. And then, within the first 2 minutes is when Ty dies, and everyone's just like, what? Now, I really liked how they handled the start of the episode. I liked how it started off basically right where you left, where we left off, or where they left off in Heartland Season 13. I liked how it picked up basically exactly where they left off. I really like that. I love when TV shows do that. I think because it brings you right back into the story and into the universe that the writers and cast are working so hard to create, and I think it's very, I love when TV shows do that. I think that it's a very, very smart storytelling choice to just bring the audience right back into where you left them in the previous season. I like that storytelling element, and I'm really glad they used it for this season because I think that that tells a lot about the story going forward. By that, I mean, I kind of don't know how to explain it. By bringing the audience back to where they left off in Season 13, there is no element of, well, what happened during the time that Season 13 ended and Season 14 began. There was none of that in the beginning of the episode. It basically started off exactly where they left off. However, what they did do in this season, and I think it's really interesting, is there is a 1-year time jump, but it's after Ty's death. So I really liked that because there was no room for speculation at the beginning of the episode. Basically, it started off exactly where you left off. Ty's dead immediately, basically 2 minutes into the episode. You know, when we all thought season 14 was going to be happy and bring happiness into the world. Nope. Ty just died. And then is when they tell you 1 year has passed. And I really like that because I think one of these storytelling elements that they're going to use in season 14 is using Amy to tell the events that have taken place, or maybe even show the events that have taken place through Amy's memory that have taken place between the 1 year time jump since Ty's death. And I really, really like that idea, and I'm very interested to see if that is in fact what they do, and if that is how they tell the events that have taken place between when Ty died and when season 14 began. Because again, there is a year time jump, and I'm wondering how they're going to tell the events that have taken place in that year that we as an audience have not seen. And it's obvious that things have happened because in the episode you see Lou and Mitch talking, and Mitch is like, "Where's that ring that I gave you?" And she's like, "I'm not wearing it. I don't know how Amy's going to react." Also, that scene, I kind of freaked out. But are they engaged? Who knows? That's something that could have happened in the year that we as an audience have not seen. So I'm interested to see how they're going to tell those events or show us those events that have taken place in the year that we have not seen. Now, when it comes to Ty's death, I know that a lot of people are upset and broken, and you feel like there is no Heartland without Ty. And I don't agree with that. I'm very sad that Ty died, and I understand that Heartland is going to be different now. I'm 20 years old, and I started watching this show when I was, I would say, 14, 15, maybe 16. So I grew up with these characters, and I've seen a lot of people on social media say, you know, Heartland has got me through high school, or Heartland has got me through the first year of college, or Heartland has got me through this in my life, or this in my life. And, you know, the death of the main character is definitely a huge thing for a show to go through. But what I really like about how the rest of the Heartland crew and cast and, you know, production team, I guess, are handling the departure of Graham Wardle and therefore the death of Ty Borden, is that I like how they are talking about it in a positive light. I highly suggest, or in a positive way I mean, and just talking about it in a way that's positive for the future of the show. If you guys have not seen Amber Marshall's message to fans that was posted on the Heartland YouTube channel yesterday night, I highly recommend you go do so. I will leave a link to that video down in the description down below. Again, I highly, highly, highly recommend you go watch that video, because in the video and in the interview, Amber was talking about, you know, how this is a new chapter for all of the characters that are still on Heartland. It's a new chapter for Amy, you know, being a single mother, and how is she going to deal with that, and, you know, being strong for Lindy, and being, you know, having to deal with the death of her husband. And, you know, it's a new story. It's a new part of Amy's life. She's going to depend on her family way more than she has in the previous seasons, because in the previous seasons, Amy has had Ty, you know, ever since the beginning. In Heartland Season 1, Episode 1 is where you meet Ty and he's introduced to the show, but now Amy doesn't have that anymore. So I thought it was interesting how Amber brought up when Graham called her and told her, you know, I'm not coming back next year, meaning I'm not going to be in the next season of Heartland. I thought it was interesting how she said, her response was, "It feels like you're breaking up with me," because these cast, or specifically Amber and Graham, have been working together for over 13 years, and they have portrayed a on-screen relationship. And in order for that to happen, you have to work really well together with your co-star. You have to be very close. You have to have a good friendship, a good relationship in order to portray a believable relationship, whether that be husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever it is on TV. And of course, we know that Amber and Graham have portrayed that for the past 13 years. And so I thought it was interesting how Amber brought that up, and also just talked about the future of the show and the next chapter of Amy's life without Ty. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Amy as a character, lean more on her family. Amber said that there's going to be scenes with Lou, and there's going to be scenes with Grandpa Jack, and I'm very, very excited to see these scenes with Lou, obviously, because Michelle Morgan. But I'm also just really excited for this new chapter of Heartland, and I have to say, and I've said this in yesterday's video as well, Amber's performance in the season 14 premiere, that was her best acting performance on Heartland to date, okay? It was phenomenal. It was so emotional that even I started tearing up, and nothing really makes me cry. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually feel how sad Amy is by watching Amber's performance, and that speaks highly to an actor's acting skills and performance when you can really connect the audience to the character and make the audience feel what the character feels. And that is something that only very, very talented actors have the ability to do, and I think that Amber did it perfectly in this episode. And you really felt Amy's emotion, and you really felt the hurt and heartbreak she was going through, and that all speaks to Amber's amazing performance in this episode. And I think it was by far, no questions asked, the best performance by Amber Marshall to date in the Heartland series. And that says a lot, because there is over 200 episodes in Heartland, and I think that says a lot to Amber's performance, but also to Amy as a character as she enters this new chapter of her life without Ty. And I'm very interested to see the writers tell us the rest of Amy's story, now being a single mother. I'm very interested to see how she's gonna deal with that. And I really loved the scene with Amy and Jack in at the fishing cabin in season 14 episode 1, because not only do we learn that Amy kind of blames herself for Ty's death, because she told Jack that Ty wasn't feeling well that day, and being the day that he passed away, but he was still there with her, watching her do the join up with the cult, and she should have made him go to the hospital, but she didn't. And we learned that she blames herself for his death. And that performance by Amber, and also by Sean as well, portraying the character of Jack Bartlett, that was absolutely phenomenal. And I also really liked how you learned a little bit more in that scene about Jack's backstory and what he went through when he lost his wife, Lindy. I think that, that scene really, really shows us that, Jack has been there through it all. He has lived what Amy is now unfortunately having to go through with the loss of her husband. And I think that really shows that, or at least to me, that scene really showed that, Jack is always there. He always has been there. And as long as Jack's there, everything is going to be okay. And I really like that scene. And then also Ty's memorial. It was beautiful. I have no other words to describe how amazing it was and how well it was shown to us and how well the actors did in that scene. And I really liked how Caleb was there, and, you know, he talked about being like a new father and how he's sad that Ty is not going to be able to be a part of it, and how, you know, he really talked about how close he was to Ty. And then my favorite part of the memorial, though, or you shouldn't be surprised when I say this next sentence, is when Lou said that she thought of Ty as a little brother, and he was the brother that she never had, and she never will forget when he came asking her for dancing lessons because he wanted to take Amy dancing to, I think, her prom or graduation or something. And you know, how he didn't get it at first, but he never gave up, and he got it eventually. And you know, and I really liked that scene, and I loved the use of flashbacks in this episode. I'm wondering if that's going to be another storytelling element for season 14 as we move on without Ty. I'm wondering if Ty is still going to be present in the use of flashbacks, or them using flashbacks to tell the story of the events that have taken place in the year time jump that we have not seen as an audience. I'd be really interested to see how they're going to tell us those events or show us those events, because remember, everything on TV is about showing. You have to show the audience. And one thing that I'm going to end off this video with is I am very excited to see Lou and Rick's relationship, her chief executive officer. I think that his character is amazing. I can't wait to see more of Rick, and also the little girl that was protesting outside Lou's office. I did not laugh much at all in this season 14 episode 1. I did not laugh at all. It was too sad and too depressing. But one scene that did make me smile and, you know, bring a little bit of joy into the episode, at least for me, was when Lou was standing by the window and the little girl was protesting, and she was like, Mayor Fleming or something, I need to talk to you. And then Lou was like, I don't know what it is with this girl. Yesterday it was this, and today it was banning the use of pesticides in Central Park. Like, and just the way Michelle Morgan presented that scene, I loved it. I thought it was a little bit of joy, at least for me, in what is, other than that, a really dark and depressing episode, again, with the death of Ty, and, you know, Amy dealing with the death of her husband and stuff like that. But I am very, very excited to see this season move forward, and I'm really excited to see this new chapter of Amy's life. And I'm very, very happy that the actors and the Heartland crew and cast and production and everyone involved with Heartland is looking at this, and by this I mean Graham Wardle's departure, as not a sad thing, although it is a sad thing. They are looking at it in a positive way, and they are fairly certain for the future of Heartland that there is still way more stories to be told, and now that this is just another chapter of Amy's life and another journey that she has to go on, but in this new journey, in this new chapter of her life, she will no longer have Ty there to help her, so she will have to depend more on her family, which is, again, something that she hasn't had to do ever since season 1, to be honest, because even Amber said in the interview that you met Ty in the first episode. Even when Amy was dealing with the death of her mother, Ty was there, and now for the first time, he's not there, and he's never going to be there again. So she has to depend on her family and, you know, be strong for Lindy. And also, one of the last things I'm going to mention, I know I've said that like 4 times, but I have so many thoughts on this episode, is when Tim destroyed the house. I was like, wow. It's really, wow, okay. I don't know what it is, but that scene was really hard to watch because it was almost like Amy's future was being destroyed, and they were using the house to show us that Amy's future with Ty, the future that they planned together, is destroyed. And by Tim destroying the house, he was showing the audience by destroying something that the future Amy and Ty had planned is now destroyed. So I thought that that was a really, really cool storytelling element because, again, you have to, in TV shows, you have to show the audience things, not just tell them. So again, I think they used the Tim destroying the house scene as a way to show fans, hey, the future that Amy and Ty had planned, that's gone. It's no longer able to happen. And they showed us that by Tim destroying the house, which I thought, one, was super, super hard to watch and super emotional because you do realize that, wow, Amy's future, it's destroyed now. The future that Ty and Amy had planned, it's gone. But also, as much as I was sad to see that happen, I'm also very excited for the future of the show. And this episode was just very well put together, in my opinion. One of the best Heartland episodes, I think. I know that people are upset that Ty or Graham Wardle has decided to leave the show, and therefore that resulted in Ty's death. But it's just another chapter. It's a new direction for the story, and I'm very excited to see what the rest of the Heartland cast and the writers and producers and the crew have planned as we go forward, unfortunately without the character of Ty being present in the show anymore. So that is all I have for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.